This short video is going to show you how to take attendance for your homeroom classes using PowerTeacher. To access the PowerTeacher website, you'll receive instructions in September. However, once you've accessed the website, you'll be taken to this login screen. Log in using your School Connect login and password. Please note that this login and password is connected to School Connect. So if you change your School Connect password, it will automatically change your password here in PowerTeacher. Also, please be aware that since the passwords are common and they are live and shared, if a student were to gain access to your password, they would not only have access to your School Connect and be able to log in as you, but they also could then access PowerTeacher and access demographic information, marks information, and a lot of personal content. So it's really important that you keep your username and password secure at all times. So I'm going to log into the system. And when I log in, I'm taken to this first starting page. There are a number of ways to take attendance. There's a list method, which I'm going to show you first. So for the list method, you simply choose whether you want to take attendance for the morning or for the afternoon and click on the chair icon. Your class list will come up, and beside your class list, you'll notice that there are a number of alerts for students if they're on file. The red icon is for a medical alert, and so you will see medical information for that student. The one that looks like the scales of justice is actually about discipline. So any discipline alerts that the administration has put into the system will be visible through this icon. There's also the little person icon, which means there's a family alert for that student. This would be things like custody issues, potential pickup or restraining orders, who's allowed to pick up the student, who's not allowed to pick up that student. And then last but not least, if it's not medical, if it's not discipline, and if it's not a family alert, there's other alerts, which shows up with just the little yellow triangle with the exclamation mark in the center. And this would be something that doesn't fall into one of those other categories, but that is needed information for the teacher to know. So to take attendance, you simply select your attendance code, and you'll notice that you have a number of different attendance codes available to you. If the reason for the absence is known but doesn't fall under one of those codes, then you would use absent with reason. If it's an unknown absence and you'd like the office to phone home to find out why the student is away, then you would select unexplained absence. Once you've selected your attendance codes, simply click on the names of the students who you want to apply that code to. Now there's also a little communication bubble to the side. This communication bubble is for you to be able to put in your own little comment. That comment will not be visible to anyone else. It is only visible to you as the teacher. So you may use it to take notes of why a student was away, but please be aware that it will not be shared with anyone else in the system. If you wanted to change the date, you can do so by simply dropping down the date, and you'll notice for any given day there's AM and PM for the attendance, so that you can choose whether you're taking morning or afternoon attendance. The Show Multiple Sections button you will never have to use. This is if we had multiple classes in different grades appearing in front of the teacher at one time. It's used at secondary when we have split grade 11 and 12 courses, or 9 and 10 courses, and we're trying to combine everyone together. Your homeroom, if you have a combined 1-2 homeroom, will actually already be created with both your grade 1 and 2 students involved. So you won't actually have to use the Show Multiple Sections. Now, in addition to simply selecting the code here and clicking, you could just simply click beside the student's name, and when you do that, you'll get a little drop-down menu where you can then select a reason as well. So you can either do it by selecting the attendance code and clicking beside a student's name, or just clicking beside their name and using the drop-down that way. Notice that if you want to mark a student present, you have to click beside their name, drop down the list, and select present in order to erase the attendance code that was there. Once you've completed taking attendance, click on the Submit button. You'll notice now that there is a yellow indicator light. That yellow indicator light's telling you that you've taken half of the attendance that you needed to. We've only taken attendance for the morning. We haven't yet taken attendance for the afternoon. So let's take attendance a different way for the afternoon. Another way that we can take attendance is using a seating chart, and that's the one where we have this little grid with the chair icon. Clicking on that icon brings up our seating plan, which I've set up ahead of time. I can change that I want to take attendance for the PM period this time, and to take attendance you would simply click on the students that you want to take attendance for, and it will take attendance for them. Once we have student pictures loaded into the system, their faces would actually show up, and obviously their names will show up. These are all generic students, so they just say generic students, but the names will show up as well. This would be a great way for taking attendance, especially for supply teachers. And if you set up your seating chart and assign the students to the correct seats, when a supply teacher comes in to take attendance, they then would be able to actually do it by looking at the visual cues. Again, once I've taken the attendance, I click on submit. And having submitted my attendance, if I go back to the start page, you can see that now I actually have a green light beside there instead of the yellow indicator. This means that I've taken attendance for today, and it's a way of just verifying with me that I've actually done that. Now, let's say that you had a student who's going to be away for a number of days, and so you want to be able to record the fact that they're going to be absent on a field trip for a number of days. You would then use this middle button, the one that looks like a grid. This allows you to take multiple days worth of attendance, and when you click on it, what shows up is a range, and you can edit the date range that it's showing up for. But let's say I had a student who I knew was going on a field trip for a week. I can then go in and I can click beside their name, and for each box you'll notice that there is an AM and a PM section. So if they're on a field trip, I want to mark that down in both spots. So I'm just going to click on both top and bottom of each section to say that they are on a field trip that day. Once I've done this, I need to click on submit to be able to submit it. And this M, L, and M here are the attendance codes from before when I took attendance earlier today. So I'm just going to change that all, make it all a field trip, and then simply click on submit. And there, I've now submitted that attendance. The office will now be able to see that. If when you log in and you go to take attendance, you notice that there's already an attendance code in there, it could be from the office having done it already. And in that event that the office has taken the attendance for you, you won't be able to change it. So this B here was actually put in by the secretary at the school. And so if I click on it, I can't change it. If I click on one of these field trips though, remember I put those field trips in and I've got the present attendance code up, and so I am able to alter the attendance. Attendance that's been put in by the teacher can be altered. Attendance that's been put in by the office can't be altered. And that's how you take attendance using one of three methods: either the single day attendance, the multi-day attendance, or using the seating chart. And you'll notice from any of those screens, you could access the other options. So there's single day, but I could click on multi-day and do multi-day attendance, or click on my seating chart and do seating chart attendance. Once my attendance has been taken that day, I simply click on sign out and I'm done.